YouTube. Ninja Midget here with the complete assembly of the Iver Johnson top break 32 cal revolver. This is the second version of it, version 2. This was the last one that used black powder. I believe the version 3 went to a smokeless powder. But anyway, this is going to be the assembly of this gun. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to go ahead and put together our sear. This is many things. It's our sear and it's our safety for our the hammer. It's actually the safety that drops down out of the way so the hammer cannot fire the gun when the trigger is in the forward position. And this is exactly how this goes in the gun, right like this. You want to make sure that the spring is hooked on this. You want to make sure that you're holding these in place just like this, because that's how this goes up in the gun. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide it up in there and slide that forward until you can see your hole that your trigger pin goes in. And grab your trigger pin, go ahead and slide that in, and that holds it. Now you can see in the top, that's where you want it. You look at the side, you can see that this part is protruding, your piece that revolves your cylinder, and then you can see that your hammer block is in there. Next, what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and get your hammer in place, and you got to fiddle around with the trigger just a little bit, move it around until you can see that hole right there, so you can get this little screw in. Goes in just like that. Screw that on down. And maybe give a couple quick taps. Get this pin in there the rest of the way. There we go. That's functioning good. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our spring in, and it goes like this. The curved side goes down and it slides in first. Let me see, there we go. You want to get that piece right down in there so that it's resting down just like this. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to set this like this because we don't want that tumbling out on us. And what we want to do is we're going to get the rest of our trigger group together so that we can put this in the gun the way it needs to go in, and it goes in just like this. So this is the way this is going to go in the gun. So what you need to do is have this laying on here just like this, maybe hold it in place with a finger, and then we're going to slide it up into the gun. And this is where you want to move your trigger back so that you can get this in here. A little tricky to do all this at once. There she is. Okay. Alright, so it's got that in there. Move this up so we can see where that pin goes. Push our pin through. Get it started in there. And there it is. There we go. Alright, now we're going to want to go ahead and get our little screw in here, because this is what's going to hold our spring tension. So we're going to go ahead and tighten that on down real good so that we've got our spring tension there that we need. There we go. We don't have our hammer spring in yet, so we got to push that forward manually. But as you can see, that is functioning just the way it needs to. Okay, now hammer spring, always a lot of fun. I'm going to put this end in first, and then you're just going to bend this down. And this is one of those things where you always, because this is a strong hammer spring, you always want to put on some safety glasses for this. Normally you don't need to for these kinds of, for most of this gun, but for something like this, yeah, you want something that you can use to protect your eyes if this thing lets go, because it definitely can. A lot of spring tension. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that in. Oh, see, that's not in place. Okay, so slide her in just like that. Now that's in place. There we go. Oops. I just flung something. Oh, it's a little screw. Okay. So there we go. You want to make sure that it's in the right place. Right down here. In this little notch down there. Because it tends to want to slide up here. So make sure that's in the right spot when you're getting that in place. And from there, it's really just a matter of going ahead and getting your grips on. And of course, I better pick up that screw that I just dropped, because that is my screw that holds these together. Okay. There we go. Now, function check. All together and functional. Really not that difficult. All you have to do is, the main thing is getting the this trigger in with these two pieces in the right orientation, and you're golden after that. After that, it just goes together pretty simply. And that's the back half of your gun. Now, I realized just now that I didn't take out this part of the gun when I was doing my disassembly, so I'm going to go ahead and do this right now, just to show how this comes out. It just slides out like this. This is your piece that pushes your ejector up. So you notice there's a little spring in here. I get that in frame. There's that little spring, and that will come out on you. And it's just holding this little ring in place, just kind of drifting in place there. So that is how it comes out. It comes out simple enough to put it back in. You just have to get that in the right orientation so that it's on that little spring. From there, you just want to push it up in place so that that little hook is going to be in an orientation that it's going to be able to flow up into that barrel right here and be able to push that up. And so it just goes together right like this. Real simple. Didn't show that in the disassembly, completely forgot. So that's that. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to go ahead and get our detent in. Put your little spring in first, and your detent goes in this orientation. So you want that slope facing up when you put that in. So we're going to go ahead and drop that bad boy in place. And it doesn't need to be exactly aligned. You just want to get it aligned enough so that it's going to be in the right orientation as you get this in. And there that is. And we get our little screw right here and go ahead and push it forward till our screw snaps in place. There we go. Just screw that baby on down, and there's your release. From there, we'll go ahead and we'll put our cylinder and our ejector back together. And you notice on this, there's a little notch in one of these pins. And you want to make sure and line that up so that's going to mate with the notch in the actual cylinder. From there, we're going to go ahead and grab our plunger, slide the spring over it, And we are going to put that in here, put some pressure on the back side, and screw that down in place. And there we go. Then you go ahead and slide this on, give it a twist, lock it in place. Then we're going to go ahead and put our screw back in here. And it helps if you put a little Loctite on this as you're putting it in, so that it doesn't start walking out on you as you're operating the gun. I had that happen to me a couple times, so a little Loctite goes a long ways. You want to be careful not to scratch things here. And there we go. Iver Johnson, all back together, functioning good. Sometimes if you don't have this piece down here in the right orientation, your ejector will not function properly. When I've had that happen, just take that out and try to reseat it, and 9 times out of 10 it'll fix it right out of the gate. So that's it. That's your assembly on this little Iver Johnson pistol. It's pretty simple. Nice little gun. A lot of fun. I wish I could shoot it, but it's so old and I don't have any means to get black powder. At least I don't want to pay $20 for 10 of these just to fire it. And this, for me, this is a little wall hanger, but it's a great little gun. And I realized after someone requested that I had not done a teardown and assembly of this. So there's your assembly. I hope that helped out the person who was requesting this. If there's anything else that I can help you with, you can post a comment and I'll reply to you there. Thanks for watching.